Guys, it's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video. Sending some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you need them out there today. So we have the new Guardian Ring Token Trader Champions. Yeah, the area that you forgot where you sacrifice your champions in order to buy mediocre or bad champions from the Token Trader. I actually reached out to play them a few days ago. I'm not sure if they're on holiday or just busy. Obviously, they got a lot going on there, but no word back in terms of who the champions were going to be because I wanted to have guides, updated guides on whoever the champions were going to be ready to go for you guys. But alas, I found out when you guys found out, which was this morning at the time of this recording. We have Samar Gemcursed and we have Goffred Brassclad. So two dwarfs available in the for the next 26 weeks. Man, 26 weeks! I can understand. How do you get these life tokens in order to purchase these champions, along with Tomb Lord Foley, Sir Nick, Fushan, Molly Tankard, and Manaya, the permanent champions on the Token Trader? How do we get these? By sacrificing legendary champions. Sacrificing a legendary champion gives us 500 life tokens, so you need to sacrifice 6 legendary champions to get your hands on Samar Gemcursed or Goffred Brassclad or any of the other champions for that matter. Out of the other champions, in case you've never purchased anybody, first of all, this is an endgame thing, in my opinion. I don't think any, even if you have dupes, I think for the most part, you're going to want to do, well, not for the most part, for the entire part, you want to make sure that you have all of your faction guardians completely full of legendaries before you even consider, in my opinion, to actually purchase a champion vis-a-vis the Token Trader. I don't think any of these champions are good enough to justify bypassing faction guardian slots first. That being said, my favorite two are going to be Tomb Lord and Molly. Tomb Lord is a beast, especially in Chimera trials or in Poison Combust teams. Molly Tankard is very effective for Head of Decay Provoke, as well as a Reviver, a very unique skill set with Rowdy Crowd passive that does very well as also even in the arena. Although that being said, she's not a meta champion. Sir Nick is cool to pair with Lady Noelle, and Foley is a block revive old school champion who still is pretty good in some areas, specifically in Fire Knight. Can pack a punch. Manaya is the companion champion to Coronar, and she's not very good. And I think they're a very lousy pair. The Beauty and the Beast, aesthetically awesome, practically kind of sucky. They're very redundant. Their kits both have some of the same things in them. I really don't like what they did with those champions. But we're here to talk about Samar and Goffred. When I saw these two names, I was, not going to lie, super bummed out, super disappointed, right? Because I don't know. There's so many different directions they could have gone with this. They could have, like, in a perfect world, they could have made them really compelling new champions that you may not have gotten yet, right? So, like, they could have put, I don't know, I'm, like, looking right at them, right? Osgrin the Defiler, right? They could have just put a new champion on there, right? They keep releasing a bunch of new champions every other month or so. Include a new champion. That'd be a cool way to get them. Even better than that, maybe put a Ninja Turtle on there. God forbid, right? Didn't expect them to do that, but that would be cool, right? But alas, none of that. None of that. I'm curious. I want to get your opinion on this because I'm not sure if it's a good idea or a bad idea, but just kind of brainstorming here. What if they put a Token Trader exclusive legendary? Would that be like a legendary you can only get in the Token Trader? You can't pull from shards. Would that be cool? Actually get you to pay attention to that? Or would it be stupid because most players don't even have their faction wars complete? I don't know, just an idea. But the biggest idea I have, and this would really open up the viability, the utility of the Token Trader, is simply allow us to sacrifice epics, even if it's for only like 10 or 100 or whatever life tokens. Even if it takes us a long time, that would make the, the resource more accessible and give you something to do with all your dupe, epics and mediocre epics that you don't even want to empower anyway. All right. Whew, with all that out of the way, let's talk about Samar Gemcursed. This dude looks freaking awesome, right? I think at least. And I think he sucks. I think he sucks. Before Sun Wukong, was added to the game, he had the best AoE buff steal in all of Raid Shadow Legends. Stealing 2 buffs on an AoE. Solid move, don't get me wrong, but it's not a game changer. It's not going to make him not even, forget just in, epic in terms of caliber on this skill on a 4-turn cooldown that doesn't hit hard at all. But, that's okay. A buff steal. Okay, awesome. And then Emerald Curse looks like it might hit hard. It frankly doesn't hit that hard, even when you get everything in terms of the HP percentage optimized. I recently built him out and I put him in some of my best gear, right? I put him in, I think, Embry's gear, HP-based damage dealer kind of control champion, I guess. It's hard to call him a damage dealer. I'm so underwhelmed by his damage. But I was super underwhelmed, like beyond underwhelmed, right? Like I put him in my best gear and he was pretty bad, Pretty bad. Has a self-heal. Honestly, he has some survivability. His only real use case, let's see what they rank him on the Hell Hades website. They give him a 3 out of 5. Frankly, I'm not going to lie, guys. I think he's one of the worst legendaries in the game, right? Like, I think you can make a case this dude's top 20 worst legendary, and there's a lot of bad legendaries. His only utility in the game, and the only reason, unless you're just a whale, and you just want to pull him for the heck of it, right? Like you have the life tokens, you have enough dupes, which I probably will myself, especially if he counts towards the champion. Like right now we have this Shredder tournament going on, for example. So I'm going to do it. I'm assuming the champion chase, he counts. Any means necessary. Shards, market, campaign, etc. So I'm assuming he'll count, right? So anyway, I'm going to try that at the end of the video. But, you know, for most players, 99% of players out there, the only reason I would even consider sacrificing six legendaries is A, you have your faction guardians already full, and B, you really need a Bommel champion, right? So he can solo or at least do a number, carry the heavy lifting against Bommel because of his passive diamond skin, okay? Block damage on this champion for 1 turn at the start of each round, but blocks incoming damage, places a block damage on this champion for 1 turn whenever they receive a hit that would drop his HP below 30%. All that being said, I'm still not enamored and I'm still not highly recommending him, even if you are struggling in Bommel, because frankly, I think there are better options, namely Lady Annabelle. I think she is head and shoulders easier and better and more effective and maybe even a little faster at soloing Bommel with her Red Lady passive. She's an epic champion, right? There's other options out there. Vergis can do some work, but I think that the Red Lady, Lady Annabelle, you know, if you have her, then no way. Don't even worry about going for Samar. So Samar, stay away. I think he sucks. Super disappointed to see him as the champion. Even for Faction Wars, I think he sucks. I apologize for being so down on this champion, but I'm so underwhelmed that I recently invested in him. Goffred Brassclad. Godfred is a whole different story. This champion is underrated and he's pretty solid, right? I think he's a good choice for the token trader. He's not the choice that I would have wanted, obviously. I told you what I would have wanted already, but he's a really solid champion who can help out a lot of accounts in a number of different areas, right? Very simple kit, but a very effective kit. He has a decreased defense on his A1, 50% chance, and a provoke as well on that A1 on both hits, both at a pretty high land rate. Solid move. He has an AoE stun, 100% stun on a 3-turn cooldown, right? There's still, you know, there's a decent amount of champions that have this ability now, but it's still a great ability to have. The AoE stun 3-turn cooldown, you know, Ragash and Lady Mikage come to mind. There's quite a few others, obviously, but Armand's, right? But man, it's a good control ability, and he's a support and a damage dealer and a control champion, kind of all into one. That being said, he's not an elite support champion, in my opinion. He has a cool passive, which we'll get to. He's not an elite damage dealer, right? His damage is pretty good, but nothing crazy. And, you know, he's tanky, which is nice. AoE stun, nice and simple. Increased defense on all allies, 3-turn cooldown. And then he removes decreased defense and weaken. Pretty niche ability there with the removal. I would love if this had a strengthen or something else on it in addition, excuse me, to just the increased defense, maybe a continuous heal. Give us something here. So I'm not enamored by the A3 here, but at the same time, it's not bad to have, and certainly increased defense is a solid buff to have, right? Especially on a defense-based, you know, kind of damage dealer in himself, right? Brassclad is what makes him a more unique and a little bit more of a special champion. Whenever an ally is attacked while under a block damage buff placed by this champion, has a 100% chance to place a stun on the attacker for 1 turn. Well, that's pretty cool, but where's the block damage? Here it is. If an ally is about to get killed by a fatal hit, it blocks that damage and places a block damage on them for 1 turn. So really solid, right? This is on a 4-turn cooldown, but it's a good move both in the arena and also in PvE content, basically anywhere. So where do I like Goffred? He's not an endgame, in my opinion, arena champion. Of course, you could use him if you wanted to. He's fun in progression in the arena. He's fun to use on unorthodox teams or on siege teams or on teams that have restrictions. So I think in siege, he can be useful. Certainly in Centranos, he's incredibly useful. In Faction Wars, he's fantastic. So there's definitely a lot of viability that Goffred Brassclad can lend to your team, to your account. However, I want to reiterate, I would not buy Goffred Brassclad if I didn't fill my Faction Guardians on pretty much any account. I think you're better in the long term passing on the short-term gratification and going for Faction Guardians. Hell, Hades gives Goffred Brassclad a 3.5. So Samar, they gave a 3. I would give Samar a 1.5. Maybe I'm too rough on the little fella. You guys can let me have it in the comments, but I got to be real with you guys at the same time, excuse me. I tend to err on the side of trying to see the beauty in every champion, as you guys know, but I don't see any beauty in Samar, frankly. I really don't, outside of Bommel, maybe. Goffred, though, I think 3.5, maybe even a 4 is a fair grading for him. So I do agree on this grading. You can see his viability or versatility on Showcase here. Can be used in most Doom Tower areas as well as dungeons. They give him a 4 out of 5 in Spider hard mode, I guess just for the stun there. But you can certainly use him even in hard mode areas like Ice Golem and Dragon, just as a control and a support for your team. And you can see his damage multipliers have a strong grading, a 3.7 and a 1.8. There it is, guys. That's my take on the new Faction Guardian Token Trader Champions. Now let's buy them and see what happens here. So I'm going to purchase. I better get the points. What was I at right now in the tournament? I just want to make sure in case it doesn't show it on the screen, which I imagine it will. We are at 85.40. So give me that legendary. Boom. I don't know why I'm going to buy them both, but okay, I got Goffred. Okay, I got the points. Okay, so hey, there's that. I got some points from him in my stupid Shredder chase here. Shredder, by the way, not even that great. I'm not going to be real. I'm going to be real with you guys. It's more of a nostalgia play for me. I unloaded all my my shards that I had going for Raph. Of course, I didn't get them. It didn't even record it. But I'm keeping my primals. Obviously, I'm not that dumb. Dumb, but not that dumb. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and buy the last dude here, Samar, and then we will call it a day. We got those copies. I don't know. I guess I'll go empower them now, but I'm not going to bore you guys with that. Hey, have a great Friday weekend whenever you're watching this video. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.